So welcome back to another episode of Filmmakers in the Making. Today we have a very special guest, Jacques Adams. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So Jacques is a director, writer, actor. Am I right?
Acting all the time, bro.
Acting all the time.
All the time.
I like that attitude.
All the time.
Yeah.
All my life.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, you know.
I'm from Augusta, Georgia. That's like right down the street. I've always loved television and film. Just as a child, I was just always just drawn to it. And I can't even really understand why, but I was just always drawn to it. My father actually helped cultivate my love of film and television because, when we were small, when he wanted to go see a movie, no babysitter, so he just, pack us along and stuff. So that way I would get to see movies like The Godfather and, which of course, as a child, those type of films, but I appreciated them, I understood them, and I actually look forward to that. It was just something that I kind of like, again, couldn't really understand why I gravitated to it so well. But it wasn't until I was in elementary school, one of my elementary school teachers, Clint Brown, he had, he was a music and arts teacher as well, and he did plays, and he wanted to do a little stage play and do some one-act plays and stuff. And so I still don't even really know why he had me to read for it. And so I got a chance and read for a little one-act play. Well, I can't even say it was a one-act play, it was a monologue. It was a poem, The Creation by James Weldon Johnson. And I got to stand in front of our elementary school class for I'm not sure exactly what it was, but we had some plays going on. But doing it, I was scared, but I felt at home. I felt like I was supposed to be doing that. And it just felt natural. And then I kind of like internalized, I think this is what I want to do. And it just stayed with me because, throughout the years, I wasn't an athlete, I wasn't popular, I wasn't that good in school, but in acting, it was both escapism, but at the same time, this is my arena, this is my sport, this is what I think I'm good at. But it also kind of like, as I got older, it also kind of helped fill, there was that lack of self-esteem because I was always trying to prove myself and I couldn't prove myself in those other areas. So it also acted as a way to help me to feel better about myself. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe most actors deep down, are trying to search, they're trying to find their place and they find it in acting because you can be anyone, anything. You can express yourself, and you can be bigger than what you feel you are. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Makes total sense. But. So I know you before you actually go into acting. You tried a couple times to get into it. How, can you explain how those tries happen? How that happened?
Okay. In my 20s, I finally decided, I'll just go ahead and take a stab at it because there was always, being in Augusta, the next step for most everybody is to come to Atlanta. There were few productions, not a whole lot, not like it is now. Mm-hmm. The biggest production then was In the Heat of the Night. And everybody was on it, everybody except me, and a few other productions that was going on. I got in touch with a talent agency, and they actually did get me on sets, but one major motion picture that I actually got on. You know, I was really excited, and I told all my family and friends about it. And every scene that I was in was cut out. And so, you know, having
every single one,
everyone. You'd go back home and you'd audition for something else, and they say, well, you know, there's something for the heat of the night, and I'd take off work, you know, get all the way to the set. Oh, it's a closed set, but you guys said that I could come on, and it was just always that I was always at the right place at the wrong time. I was always meeting people who knew the people, but I didn't know the people, and that was going on consistently. I could never get jobs. I could never get to seem to land anything. And again, this has gone on for years, and I was already convinced. Well, you know, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do this and do that. But then, you know, life hit me upside the head, and you know, after a couple of, you know, moments of just reflecting and you know, in my faith, I just started questioning and saying, you know, well, God, why would you give me this dream? Why would you place this in me, but you don't want to see it fulfilled? I mean, why would you, you know, punish me like that? So fast forward to a couple of years later, I started thinking that, well, maybe that he wasn't saying, no, you can't have this. I believe now that maybe he was saying, not right now.
It's not your moment.
Was my moment. So I had, at that particular time, I had just stopped, just walked away, and got a job, and then got married, and our family began to expand, but it was always in there. It was always that you know, just kind of like nudging at me to just go ahead and try it, and I still, you know, by that time I had kind of like accepted, and I can't really say it was a defeatist attitude. I want to say I think that I was at peace that if it doesn't happen, I'm fine. And I just put it on the back burner and just left it alone.
Yeah, so how you could hide that all these years? How you manage to silence that voice, that inner voice? I'm pretty sure every night, every other week, you had that voice hitting you. Maybe watching a movie that you can be watching. You know what? I can do that.
Exactly.
I could. You know.
Exactly.
I can do better than that guy right there.
It was always like that, and sometimes it would get a little, agonizing, but then I just kind of said, well, you know, I'm fine. I'm okay. You know, it's maybe I'll find some other avenue. You know, because back then, you know, in my younger years, I also wanted to act for the wrong reasons. I wanted the fame, the accolades, all that kind of stuff to help boost my self-esteem. And it was a way to like get back at people, to say, you know, I told you so, you know, I proved you wrong, all you naysayers and stuff. And that wasn't the right motivation. I had to do it because it was in me to do it. And so in more recent years, my brother, my wife had said, you know, you'd always seemed happier when you were doing those things. You know, maybe you want to start back. And, you know, after relocating to Atlanta, it's like, you know, well, this is the hotbed of activity. Yep. And I was like, well, you know, maybe, but I'm really not sure. And again, just didn't quite dismiss it, but my wife actually did find an acting troupe that was auditioning. So she gave me the information. I went to the audition, and it went great as far as I was concerned. And I just knew, it's like, oh, I got it. But, you know, I don't know if that can be a commit and stuff. And so, you know, they're going through and they say, we'll give you a call back and all that kind of stuff. And of course, it's like, yeah, it was a great job.
That's it.
Nothing.
So, so you were we were talking before. There were a project that you actually shot it, and for some reason you destroy all the footage. Can you explain about that? I mean, how that happened?
This is how that happened. Around maybe about little over 10 years ago, I had said, well, I've learned certain things. You know, I started in communications. Started out, working at the local television stations in Augusta. Went from production and started doing news. And then once I relocated here, I started working for corporate television, which I currently still do. But in between those times, I had just decided, well, I've learned a couple of things. Maybe I ought to just go ahead and try something myself. So I had actually, I produced, shot, edited some little vignettes, and I was going to try and see if I could, shop it off to somebody. Well, the good thing is that I was in the company of, people who could, get this in front of some people. So the connection I had was able to get it in front of some people who could make some stuff happen. Mm-hmm. So the feedback I got was they didn't hate it, they didn't necessarily love it. But the advice that I was given was, well, maybe you might want to try and rework this for a different audience. Maybe you may want to try this. But around that time, it was like, well, no, I'm not changing anything. It's staying, like this, because that wasn't the answer I wanted to hear. So, so I tried, another avenue. I tried to push it to this other outlet that I thought, might get some attention, and I got nothing. So in a fit of frustration, anger, and self-pity, and a moment of temporary insanity, I just abandoned the project and destroyed everything, destroyed all of it. So now there's no evidence of that project other than being right here. So as time went on, I started thinking that I don't have any regret. Well, I mean, no hard regret, but I looked at that as a learning lesson because, and I'm hoping that people get this part right here. After doing what I had done with that project, this was right at the advent of YouTube. Mm-hmm. After everything was gone, and then fast forwarding and thinking, you know what? I was going out to all these other outlets, and there was an outlet right there screaming at me. This was like right at, the start of YouTube. And I was figuring, well, that's just a, cool place to look at videos of, people doing crazy stuff. But it was almost like, looking back now, YouTube was saying, hey, we're Startup Group too. Give us a shot. This might work. And, I'm thinking now, had I have just used my better judgment, taken the constructive criticism and placed it on what, now has become social media, maybe things might have been different. So the regret that I have is that I gave up too soon, and now I'll never know what might have happened had I have just stayed persistent.
So how you ever think to reshoot what you did in the past? And
I have. I have. It's come and gone a couple of times because it was one of those things that, everybody thinks that their project is the next best thing.
Yep.
But again, I would say for anybody that, yes, you have to think that your thing is the next best thing. You have to have that confidence that you have to believe in it. I let disappointment, ghosts of past failures cloud my better judgment and fear of rejection, because that's what I had been dealing with. Every time I tried something, there was always a door slammed or nothing became of it. So again, as my wife and brother they talked about acting again. And, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, I guess I try one more time, but I really wasn't seriously thinking about it. So, lo and behold, this young brother that looks a whole lot like you, as a matter of fact, and has a name almost just like yours, was working on a project, and you know, he'd asked me to, you know, help out with it. I was like, sure, you know, I'd be glad to. There was a scheduling conflict with one of the crew members, and so just at the last minute, you know, he had said, "Can you just read this line, you know, just to fill in?" I was like, "Sure." So I read for it. You know, really wasn't even thinking of anything. Around that time, later on, I was asked to, "Do you mind actually being in this?" And I was like, "Well, sure." Now I got to backtrack and say that prior to actually landing that for what now is a film short, I mean, like real film, that's going to be entered into a competition. Prior to that, just days before, I was trying to like work on a project of my own. And again, I was, you know, running into some, you know, small roadblocks, nothing big. But then I just started thinking, well, here it goes again. It's another roadblock. This ain't supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I didn't trash it, but I had just gotten really, really down. And, you know, I'd actually gotten like just depressed. That was the same time that I was asked to be in your project. Mm-hmm. And my wife told me that, you know what, maybe that was supposed to happen so you could be in this. So this is very new to me. So it's like a do-over. It's like a rebirth, really, because this is something that I had walked away from. This is something almost 30 years that I had just pretty much shut down. And I feel like I've been given a second chance. It's really, really, I can't even really describe how it feels. It feels like, and again, you know, now, and I'm going to throw my faith in this, it feels like, you know, I know that these things don't happen, you know, just by chance. And I believe that
there's a reason.
There was a reason, definitely. Yeah. I believe that.
I agree too. I mean, I remember that day we were on set, and then the lead actor couldn't show up. And then, you know, I'm talking with the producer, script supervisor. I mean, you know, we cannot cancel the rehearsals. You know, we have to keep going. So I said, well, let's, you know, you look like, you know, a lot like James, and said, you know, let's have Jack, because that way we can, you know, lighting and everything gonna be more accurate. So, you know, it was when you did the first pass, actually was looking the producer and the DP, and then we were like, man, he got what we need. And then that's when we asked you, you know, we should bring Jack in, you know. And then that was a hard thing to kill the other one, you know. It's not easy to call it, hey, you know, we have to let you go. But I mean, we explained it to the other actor, you know, hey, you know, we got this person, he did it what we want, exactly what I wanted. So that was great. But talk about that. I think when I first met you a year and a half ago, and we met, you know, I always saw something. Jack had something hidden in him. You can, you know, I don't know what it was. I can't say it, but I know it was a talent in there that was just yelling to be out. They said like to let it go. So you can tell, because I saw you that you were talking. Sometimes we were talking about acting and stuff like that, movies, and I saw how excited you were about talking about 6 actors and the actors, and you told me all the time, watch this movie and what is this. So this is guy. He's not just a camera guy. I think he's something more. He's like an iceberg. You only see top part is way more behind this thing. And then he's digging into it. Actually found you were actor. So it was, for me, it was a very, so this is those accidents that lead you to a surprise.
Yeah.
The accident actor didn't show up, and have the opportunity to let you do it, and then see that you have the great talent. So we got an actor here. So.
Well, and again, you know, and we've talked, and I've said it a million times. I can't say it enough. I have to thank you because, again, and giving me a chance. Because you know, in other productions, you'd always included me. Sometimes, you know, life can beat you down, and you can allow people and circumstances to have power over you.
Yep.
But when someone says, you know, directly or indirectly, I believe in you, it makes all the difference in the world. And, you know, from that, I see possibilities, something I didn't really see before. Again, it encouraged me to continue writing. I'm still trying to make some adjustments, and I'm more open to criticism now, because it can only help me. Back then, I didn't want to hear it, and I was being told something that was really going to help me, but I didn't see it that way. Now I can see it that, you know, it can only help me to get better. I'd like to think that I've gotten a little bit wiser, and I hope that, you know, by us, you know, doing this right now, I hope that my example will serve as a template as to what not to do. I would say to anyone, don't give up, don't quit. Again, you know, as a young person, you know, and I'm old enough to say that now, to a young person, even if you are afraid, just go ahead and do it anyway, because that's another thing that you know, you helped me to see, is to not be afraid.
Speak up, yeah.
Speak up, take a chance, because your opportunity, your chance may be a lot closer than you think, because there's nothing that says that there's X amount of years for something to happen. It may be sooner. The point being that, you know, when it happens, it will happen. Yep. The other thing is, by being younger, take advantage of your youth. You have the advantage of youth. And now social media, you don't necessarily have to go to certain outlets. Sometimes those outlets can come to you through social media. And again, don't have a moment of temporary insanity, and don't kill your dream. Don't kill your dream before you have a chance to see it come to fruition. Stay with it.
I don't make decisions on the anger.
Exactly. Exactly.
Go take a, I don't know, go to a bar, have a drink, and then come back and, you know, go back. Into it.
It's nowhere near as bad.
So let's go back to the short film that we did together. I mean, because something that impressed me the most is you haven't been on set more than 20 years. And then you walk into the set when I tell you, hey, Jack, we only have one shot of everything. So how you feel about it? I mean, how was the pressure's on, you know?
Well, when you know that, hey, you got to get one take, that's a big motivator. But at the same time, you know, I joked around and said always acting, but no, really, I'm always acting.
But it wasn't just one take, it was one take, couple pages. You know, it was a take of one sentence. It was a take of, I mean, I think we did one for 3.5 pages, something like that.
Yeah.
So how you feel when I had to tell you, hey, Jack, we had to go straight acting all the way because we could only select once. So you had to go throughout 3 pages. You know, how?
I couldn't let you down. Couldn't. Because there was a lot riding on that 100 feet of film. It sounds like a lot. We found out 100 feet of film just like that.
So to explain people out there, we were doing a Kodak challenge where we have to shoot a short film and 100 feet of film. So that's like 2 minutes, 2 minute, a couple seconds plus. You had to put in there, you had to slate and all that. And then by the time the camera cuts and speed up, is the time that couple frames the camera you lose there. So, it was no easy thing too. And then on top of that, we were timing every single scene. So it was not just this long scene, but you had to do it. I think the scene that we did in the 3 pages scene, we did like a 30-something seconds and 35 seconds, something like that. Am I right? Yeah,
thereabouts.
So how many times we had to rehearse? I think I lost the count.
I don't even know.
So many.
But it actually it helped all of us. I know it helped me, so that way I could remember it a lot better. But then also trying to remember and get into who this character was, because can we curse on here? Well, anyway,
we're gonna put beep.
The character I was playing was a straight up.
Yeah, I know.
And for fear of incriminating myself, I had a lot of inspiration for that role. That helped me to remember a lot of the stuff because I started thinking, and I think most of us have been there where we've had someone or something that was an obstacle, something or someone that either intentionally or unintentionally tried to keep you down. So I could internalize that real easy. I mean, that's out of character for me, but I can't really even say it was fun playing, just a bad person or just maybe a not so personable person, I guess. I can't say that the character was bad. But just knowing that we didn't have the luxury of time. Digital's more forgiving.
Yep.
Film is a whole nother animal, I got a whole new respect for film. Always did, but not until then.
Yep.
A whole newfound respect for film and filmmakers. So
true. I mean, something I want to ask you is that day that we did the first rehearsal, when you were back home, what were you thinking about?
Oh, I having to go back and to tell my wife, tell my kids, tell my family that it's like I'm working on a film, and
on film.
Let's
make that clear.
And to hear their reactions, that's great. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you and stuff like that. That just takes me back to childhood. That moment being on stage in elementary school. I'm feeling like I'm at home again. I'm feeling like this is where I'm supposed to be. It's really a rebirth. It's like, getting again a second chance to just go back at it. And it feels good. It feels real good.
Well, something funny happens that you were doing some camera work for such a long time that I saw you a couple of times grabbing a sandbag and moving. I said, Jack, you gotta stop. Stop moving camera. You acting now. So how was that for
this
you
is
to
all,
detach?
This is all new to me because, I'm getting pampered. Anybody would like getting pampered. And when you get so used to, just jumping in and just grabbing stuff, and it's just so automatic that when you're told, no, you don't have to worry about that, okay, I could get used to that. I could get used to this right here.
Yeah. I remember a couple of times the DP calling for a flag, and then Jack was the first one to move. Stop, Jack! You have to stay there. You can't move. You can't leave.
Yeah.
A couple of times we had that conversation. So for you it was like, I know that you want to help us in the opposite way, but I think for you to detach was kind of.
But I think the other thing on that particular project, and not every project's going to be that way, but something that I had to share with my colleagues at my 9 to 5 was we went in knowing that the film short, we went in knowing full well it was going to be long, it was going to be involved, we were going to have to do, not several takes. We just knew we were going to be in for the long haul.
Yeah.
And we did it twice.
Yeah.
But both times, everybody was in tune. Everybody was in agreement. Everybody was focused. And if a challenge arose, we plowed through it, we dealt with it, and we moved on. And I thought to myself, and I told you, I said, you know what? That's the way it's supposed to be. And I told my colleagues on my 9 to 5, that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, from that experience, I had to share it with my other coworkers that that's the way we need to be. I know things happen. I know problems arise, but that experience just uplifted me so much. Knowing that, and yeah, we were all dog tired, but it felt good. And I look forward to that, and I want to continue to do that. And I hope that everybody gets to experience that, you know, on a regular basis. So.
And the amazing thing, when we wrapped that day, we were tired, but we were happy, and then a bunch of people were hugging each other, and we did it. We made it. We finished it. It was a bunch of, we have a lot of obstacles, I remember, but we were so happy with it that we hugged each other, and you know, that's kind of an amazing thing for me. So, you know, and then, so, I mean, I know you for a while. I know every time we go flying to do our shoot outside of anywhere we go. So I see you doing camera work most of the time on your 9 to 5, but something that caught my attention is everybody on the field loves you. And then it's quite amazing. Sometimes walking with you on set, I feel I'm walking with the President of the United States because everybody knows Jacques on set. So how do you gain the love for these people? It's quite amazing. You know everybody by name, where they came, where they're from, and all that.
Well, I'd like to believe that, you know, that I've been blessed with a heart to see people happy, to see people having a good time. My father was like that. And I really love seeing people happy. I really love doing that. Now, the other thing about my 9 to 5, strangely enough, when you say that, somehow it satisfied that need to want to, what I wanted to get from acting back then. I wanted the you know, I wanted people to acknowledge me. I wanted the adulation, all that kind of stuff. And not that I get that on my 9 to 5. Well, when I'm out there, I get so much positive feedback. I feel like I'm on a set. I feel like I'm a star.
Yeah.
And it's a little egotistical, but it's a good feeling. It's reciprocated. You feel appreciated. You feel like somebody is saying good job, and that's what I really hope. If nothing else, that's what I want to be able to do in acting, with the art, with anything. I want to be able to convey feelings. I want people to like feel stuff. I just want to, you know, see people happy, and you know, if I've done that, then mission accomplished, and I'm at peace with that.
Yeah. So I know you're working on the short film that's coming up soon. Can you talk about us about that?
Well, it's still in its very, very, very infant stage. The short of the long is it's based on a story in the Bible. It's based on everybody's familiar with the story of David and Goliath. Everybody's familiar with David's story as being a king. But not a lot of people are familiar or even really remember the story of his predecessor. Was King Saul. He was originally chosen to be king, but because of a bad decision that he made, it was taken from him and given to David. So what I was trying to capture is, you know, how does a person who has everything, who's been given everything, how do they just blow it like that? Well, it's pretty easy. You can make bad decisions. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to like tell a story of the deconstruction of a person. I wanted to see, you know, a man gradually being broken, getting down to his very last, you know, he's desolate, he has no hope. And I wanted to show that story as a warning, but also it's a relatable story because, you know, I felt like Saul, the person that the story is based on. I felt like that, and I'm sure a lot of people have felt that way, that, you know, when you see somebody doing the things that either you did or you wanted to do, there's that bit of like, you know, resentment, like, why them? Why not me? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, that should have been me. And I wanted to convey that story, you know, because even though David is ultimately the hero, well, Saul was a hero too. He's a tragic hero because he was chosen, but bad decisions, he ultimately, he paid, you know, the ultimate price. And, you know, I said I want to see people happy, but at the same time, I want to make people like feel something. And maybe in a sense, I want to show people, you know, to have a little bit of empathy for you know, when somebody makes a mistake, instead of saying, you know, well, I don't know how that could ever happen. Well, yeah, it could happen. It happens all the time. And I wanted to just show, you know, just the story of bad decisions and brokenness, and convey that the best way I can. So yeah. It's a long haul, but, you know.
So how do you practice to gain character? What is your method? What is your, you know,
well,
process?
Earlier I was saying I'm always acting, man. On the 9 to 5, sometimes you acting like you really want to be there sometimes, and some days, or if somebody like, you know, pisses you off, you know, you act like, you know, it didn't bother you, stuff like that. But for roles, I really just try to see from that person's point of view. I just try to see like, okay, now how would they actually do this? How would they actually act? Going back to like, you know, the project that I'm you know, currently working on. There've been times to where I would actually, as I'm driving, I would act out a scene, and I know people thought that, you know, this guy is crazy. In one part of the story, a very pivotal scene actually, I actually started welling up. I actually started like to well up, and this was in the daytime. And so, you know, I'm trying as best I can, you know, to not make it obvious that, you know, because I know people on the side of me is like, is this guy crying? What's his problem and stuff? And, you know, and then I got to hurry up and like, you know, wipe my face and get my eyes, you know, before I like come up to somebody so they won't wonder like, well, what's going on with him? Or then there are times I've actually been caught a couple of times going over lines, you know, and then trying to play it off like, oh, I was just singing a song or whatever. So I think you just have to really just lose yourself into a character, just become the character. Yeah. I mean, I know that's pretty vague, but that's what I've tried to do.
Any specific moment or funny shit, you been caught acting?
Oh yeah. Actually, on my 9 to 5, I was going over just. It was a movie that I liked or something like that, and I thought that there was nobody in the hallway that I was walking through, and just as I'm like mouthing and saying stuff and going through the mannerisms, somebody just happened to be, you know, walking by, and so all of a sudden I just stopped and, you know, started like humming a tune and started like, you know, like I was singing and stuff. It was really embarrassing. And
did the other person say something, or like?
They looked and smiled, you know, because I'm sure they didn't want to like hurt my feelings, but but you know, it's.
Yeah.
But that just comes with the territory, I guess.
So, what is when you go to sleep at night lately? What is that thing that make you start dreaming again?
Oh,
What is the spark right there?
before possibilities, man, possibilities. You know that however things turn out, just be able to take a chance and see what actually may become of this. To see that yes, this really can happen. You're on the right path. So.
That's nice. I think that's a. I think I have told you a couple of times about that.
Yeah.
If we're on the right path, because sometimes you feel lost.
Yeah.
Even though you're doing many things in filmmaking and doing the short and doing that, sometimes you feel lost.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a good feeling right there. Feel you're on the right path.
Yeah. Yeah.
So any word of wisdom to tell those filmmakers out there that maybe they're at the point right now when you stop dreaming and destroy that footage. What are you gonna tell those guys right now? But
use that example again of what not to do. Don't give up. It's nowhere near as bad as you think it is. There are no dumb ideas at all, because the idea you have, there's probably somebody else thinking the same thing. The only difference is they may get to it sooner than you do. And if that idea doesn't work, go on to the next thing. You might be a lot closer than you think. So,
thank you so much, man.
thank you, bro.
It was a great story.
Thank you.
And then people out there, please share this amazing story. I'm certain that you're gonna be somebody out there who need to listen to this. And also, is the agent out there? You know, we have an actor here. You know, it's open for business. They're available.
Yes, he is.
Hey, don't listen to the 9 to 5. We can work around that.
We can.
You know, we can take some PTO and all that.
We can.
So, you know, please share, like us, and subscribe to our channel so you can see what's coming up. And thank you for watching Filmmaking and Making.
Watch it,
Thank
or
you so
else,
much.
or else.